lot of women I know still, and again, no offense or no judgment, just a observation I have seen is that a lot of women even today, they are very comfortable with their money being managed by their father, mother, or their brother or their husband. And even though they are earning like in crazy numbers, they are very okay with that. And I just feel that, if you are earning money yourself, you should have a basic control on your finances. Like, at least know where your money is being put in, how much interest you are getting, and is
Yeah.
it appreciating or not. Because the funny part is that people nowadays don't even get the concept of inflation. I'll give you a funny example of, like somebody I know, like a very close friend. So in her household, her, like, she still does FD, like fixed deposit, okay. And when I ask her, like, where do you invest your money, she's like, okay, fixed deposit. And she's very happy because she's like, I'm investing money now. And the funny part is, she thinks that in an FD her money is growing. It's not. Because if you suppose, say, think about India as a country, right?
Yeah.
You're doing FD, and how much interest do you get? 5.5%, maybe even less than that, right?
Yeah.
This is a very good range, I'm saying, of the FD return. And inflation is 7-8% easily, right? So what's happening really? Your money, आपने suppose you put in like 1 lakh in FD, you think oh, at 5% interest it's growing. No, it's actually depreciating at
Saving
3%,
3%. Yeah.
because inflation minus your FD return is actually minus 3%.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you also have to pay tax on the interest which you would have got on FD. So it's not a win-win, it's a loss-making situation. So small things like these, I think women should start, not just women, even like men in general, should start to educate themselves about the basics of finance and money management, stuff like this. And as far as gold is concerned, I really don't understand why people invest in gold jewelry. Again, just my personal opinion is that if I have to invest in gold, I would not buy a gold necklace or a gold bangle or gold earrings unless I have to wear it on a daily basis, or say I have a lot of functions to attend and I have to like really wear that jewelry. But if I'm buying a jewelry and thinking, oh, I have invested, then sorry honey, you are wrong, because you actually have not invested. You have just lost money in something which has a high making charge, which will cost you for storing it, and which will also give you a less value if you try to sell it in the market, and which will not be sold so easily. Say god forbid, suppose, say, someone buys a piece of jewelry like a gold necklace, and there's some emergency in the family. Do you think you will be able to go and sell that jewelry immediately? No.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Harmony Hour with Deepa. And today, what we have today, we are going to talk about finance, content creation. We have an influencer with us, and she is a professional CA, and she has turned into a content creator and a full-time influencer on social media. She has made a lot of viral video, and the one which we are going to talk about, recently she caught her maid slouching on the couch and it went so viral, everybody was talking about it. So we'll be talking about that as well. So if you like my video, so please like and subscribe because that means a lot. So let's welcome Anamika Rana today with us. Thank you, Anamika, for being here.
Thank you for having me, Deepa.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm better after listening to the introduction about the maid slouching on the sofa. I'm not sure how to take it, but let's get this started.
Yeah, that's a topic of the town. Like people are talking these days.
Okay.
So can we just get a peekaboo of that topic and like can you explain that what exactly happened and how did it went viral?
Okay, so that's a bit out of context. I mean, that's nothing to do with finance, but it's just that it just seemed very unprofessional at that moment. Of course, later on, I thought about it. Maybe the video didn't have to really go viral. But the fun part over here is that, I spoke about something which literally every woman I spoke to later on when the video went viral agreed to. And but the comment section was full of like two sides. Like, I think probably it was like Gen Zs and the Alpha generation and versus the millennial generation, right?
Yeah.
And the millennials are mostly like, okay, I think what you did was fine because it was very unprofessional. Like when you go to your own office, right? You don't go and sit on your boss's chair. You have your own designated chair or your desk, whatever it is, and you go and sit there, right?
Yeah.
So you would never go on your boss's chair and just like slouch like that, right? So it
Right.
was just it was from that perspective where I felt that, given your working hours, you're supposed to do your work. Had your work been finished and you were just relaxing, I'm okay with that. But your work is not done. You are literally just slouching and chilling as if it's like your own house or whatever. And that too, it just looked very unprofessional. And that is the point where I felt that, this has to be addressed. And the idea was not to disrespect, of course, it was just to address a concern where I felt I wanted to see what others also have to say about it. And unfortunately, it went viral to the level that literally all the all the big media houses, all the big media pages were covering it. And at that point of time, I also felt that, wow, don't they have any other work to do in life than to cover such topics? But it was a matter of like 24 to 48 hours. That's how long usually a viral content works
Yeah.
nowadays. And after that, it was like a shun thing. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
the story. But I love my house help, and she still is working with me. So please don't take it like a personal attack on anyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a great person, and yeah, I love her work.
I wanted to mention this because it was a talk of the town for
Yeah.
some days.
Yeah.
And everybody in our inner group, outer group, everybody in Dubai was talking about it because that was a very great content to, like, just get it.
Yeah.
Because things happen in our daily life too, like a lot of things, but we don't have, like, that activation, like that time you just get into your phone and just record it.
Exactly.
But
Like I didn't like dress up well or something like, hey, you know what, let's get down and make a content. Or it was more like a general, like a question which I had in my mind, like a
Yeah.
general addressing of the question, and I wanted to understand from other people's perspective, the ones who run the households, not the ones who live in like PGs and all, because the ones who were commenting that you were attacking were mostly the ones who were like youngsters, who
Yeah.
have no idea how to run the basic household duties and all. With all due respect, right? But then it was just like a very random comment, like a random content piece, and it went viral. And I was like, wow, okay, this is what people want to watch nowadays. It's like very
Oh,
funny.
yeah. So, Anamika, moving on, like, so the first we'll start with the question is like, you are a professional CA and now a full time content creator and an influencer. So, what's the backstory of Anamika and how did you ended up in, like, content creating?
Right. So this was okay. So after a lot of studies and hard work of like 5 years, more than 5 years actually, finally I got my degree, my qualification of being a chartered accountant. It was like the moment of my life, and the funny part is that I loved my job. I was working in Big Four. This was back in the year 2022. Yeah, somewhere on that time, where I was in my regular job, and I used to also have a lot of spare time, like like in the over the weekends or say post office hours. I used to wonder, okay, you know what, like I love to work basically, but suppose I have a lot of spare time. I used to wonder, okay, like what else can I do in this spare time? And I also used to think a lot about the fact that as a chartered accountant, okay, I'm doing my job, my duty, but apart from that, what else can I do? And the one thing which I really wanted to start doing is to educate people around the basics of money management. Okay.
Yeah.
Especially because I've seen that from where I belong, I've seen that money is not a very talked about topic. It's a hush hush thing, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't openly discuss like about savings, investments, and stuff like that, right? And the funny part is like we know there are many proverbs around money being an evil thing, and a lot of myths around money. But the ironical part is that this is the one thing you are chasing throughout your entire life.
True.
And that one thing which you're chasing, you don't talk about it. It's
Yeah.
like so funny. And even in our education system, we've never been taught about the basics of finance, right? So I used to have these questions in my mind, like, if I'm chasing money, if I'm working for money day in, day out, then why don't I know the basics of finance back then in my college, right? So with this thought, I was like, okay, you know what, let's just start making reels. And I love to dance, all those stuff. So I was like, you know what, reels are like trending nowadays. And the simplest way is to do this musical reels, and I began doing that in my free time basically. And it was the first month of me posting reels, and trust me, I had no intention of being a content creator. I had no idea also how this industry works, right? I was like, I'll just do my job and I'll make reels when I have my free time. And one day one of the reels just blew up, like it went viral. And it went like viral so quickly that literally overnight I had like more than a million views on that reel. And my followers, which were around like 1,000 followers in the first month of making content, it went to 10,000 followers straight up.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, cool, that's great. But then what happened next was what made me switch my career path is that a lot of brand agencies and brands individually also started to reach out to me on my DMs or on my email, and they started asking me to make content for them. And they also started asking me for like a
Collaboration.
collaboration kind of deal where they were paying me a pretty good amount. And I was like, wow, you actually make content by doing this kind of work. And reels were still like a picking up thing that time. Abhi to
Yeah.
it's like a big thing right now.
Yeah.
Everybody makes reels, right? But that one, no one knew about the reels. So at that point of time, I started making money from creating content, and it in very like I think within few months it came to a point where literally the money I was making from my content was easily crossing what I would have made from my salary at that point of time. And I was enjoying the work, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's when I thought, let's take a risk, let's take a chance, and I quit my job and I went full time into content. And touch wood, there's no looking back till now. So yeah.
Talking about the numbers, Anamika, so what do you have to say? Like, how do people earn by creating reels, and how much can they earn?
Okay, so if I just talk about about the aspect, where suppose you don't turn your monetization on, where you don't get paid for the views that you get on your reels, okay, then there is no like one size fits all kind of answer to this, but on a generic basis, um, whatever number of followers you have, right? So depending on that, usually the brands also assess your engagement. For example, if you have 10,000 followers, right, but if the views on your reels are only at an average of 500 views, then it either shows that those followers are fake or inorganic followers, or it just simply shows that you have the audience but they don't like your content.
Yeah.
Right, in that case, if I were a brand, I would not pay you a lot of money. But if you have 10,000 followers, and if you have, suppose, say, a lot of views, like 5,000, 10,000, some viral views as well, then in that case, maybe as a brand, I am also okay paying you 10,000 rupees per reel. Okay, so it depends, it totally depends on the number of followers and the engagement that you are showing to the brands. But on an average, if you have like 50,000 followers and good engagement, then the brands can easily pay you depending on your niche. But if you're in the finance or tech niche, right, which is more like to do with like I would say like technical stuff and all, then you can easily earn anywhere around like 30 to 40,000, 30,000 rupees INR per reel
Okay.
for 50K followers. And as your number of followers keep increasing, of course your per reel charges also increasing, but not proportionately. For example, if you go from 50K to 1 lakh followers, it won't become like 30K to 60,000 rupees. It might increase but not exactly in the same proportion. But again, it all depends. But on an average, if you have 50K followers, then 30K INR is easily doable given a good engagement rate
Wow.
per reel. This is only from brand collaborations, and eventually when you do become like a brand yourself, like suppose say you can see like so many big brands nowadays,
Yeah.
like influencers who've become like huge, like Mr. Beast, for example, right?
Yeah.
He has launched so many product line, like Feastables is one of the recent lines he's launched, right? So once you become a big brand yourself, suppose if Harmony Hour becomes a big brand tomorrow, then apart from the collaborative deals you do, you can also launch your own product or service line.
Yeah.
You can sell courses, you can sell workshops, you can sell t-shirts or any goodies, whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Many things.
There are a lot
Yeah.
of ways to earn money basically as a content creator if you are doing it right.
Okay. And what do you mean by doing it right? Like,
Doing it right as in like, firstly, don't expect that, oh, today I'm going to start a new channel and you know what, I just posted like one reel tonight and it'll go viral and boom, and I'll earn like a 10,000 deal
yeah.
tomorrow. No, it's not going to happen. You have to just start, keep on
Consistency.
doing. Consistency is very important, and that's the hard lesson I've learned over time. Because I'm still very inconsistent, but I'm trying to buck up gradually. So yeah.
Okay. So today we'll be talking about finance because you are a CA
Yeah.
and I really want some questions to be answered. So talking about investing for especially for women, I'm talking like these days many women will get offended by this question, but I'm not targeting anyone. So like many women these days also like more towards spending rather than earning.
Right.
So what is the best way to invest? for women's. And do you think gold is something, because I've seen your reels and you talk a lot about gold
Right.
and jewelries and everything. So what do you think? Like, what is the best way to start investing? And what do you think? Like, if we can buy gold, is that a good investment, or is there anything specific you want to mention about mutual fund or any other SIP or anything, like,
Okay.
we can begin with the investing?
All right. So, firstly, coming to the first part where you ask about like women investing, how they can get started is, see, there was, I would say, like probably a time, when women's role was restricted towards just running the house,
Yeah.
and men's role was to be the
On the bread
the
earner, yeah.
bread earner of the house, right? But times are changing, trends are changing, patterns are changing, and women are becoming more, I would say, multi
Tasker,
a
yeah.
tasker, right? Like they say, like mostly women I know are like very ambitious, like go getter kind of women who want to work and also run the house, right? And it's a choice. It's not like you have to do A or B. Whatever you do it as long as you are happy, right? But nowadays women are like, okay, I want to work, I want to be like my own independent, like I want to earn money independently, and I also want to make sure that my house is as per my own expectations, right? But but still we have a long way to go before the mass women can get to the point, where they start understanding what it is to start earning money yourself and how to manage finances. Like a lot of women I know still, and again, no offense or no judgment, just a observation I have seen is that a lot of women even today, they are very comfortable with their money being managed by their father, mother, or their brother or their husband. And even though they are earning like in crazy numbers, they are very okay with that. And I just feel that, if you are earning money yourself, you should have a basic control on your finances. Like at least know where your money is being put in, how much interest you are getting, and is
Yeah.
it appreciating or not. Because the funny part is that people nowadays don't even get the concept of inflation. I'll give you a funny example of, like somebody I know, like a very close friend. So in her household, her, like she still does FD, like fixed deposit, okay. And when I ask her, like, where do you invest your money, she's like, okay, fixed deposit. And she's very happy because she's like, I'm investing money now. And the funny part is she thinks that in an FD her money is growing. It's not. Because if you suppose say think about India as a country, right?
Yeah.
You're doing FD and how much interest do you get? 5.5%, maybe even less than that, right?
Yeah.
This is a very good range I'm saying of the FD return. And inflation is 7-8% easily, right? So what's happening really? Your money, आपने suppose you put in like 1 lakh in FD, you think oh, at 5% interest it's growing. No, it's actually depreciating at
Saving
3%,
3%. Yeah.
because inflation minus your FD return is actually minus 3%.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you also have to pay tax on the interest which you would have got on FD. So it's not a win-win, it's a loss-making situation. So small things like these, I think women should start, not just women, even like men in general, should start to educate themselves about the basics of finance and money management, stuff like this. And as far as gold is concerned, I really don't understand why people invest in gold jewelry. Again, just my personal opinion is that if I have to invest in gold, I would not buy a gold necklace or a gold bangle or gold earrings unless I have to wear it on a daily basis, or say I have a lot of functions to attend, I have to like really wear that jewelry. But if I'm buying a jewelry and thinking, oh, I have invested, then sorry honey, you are wrong, because you actually have not invested. You have just lost money in something which has a high making charge, which will cost you for storing it, and which will also give you a less value if you try to sell it in the market, and which will not be
Okay.
sold so easily. Say god forbid, suppose say someone buys a piece of jewelry like a gold necklace, and there's some emergency in the family. Do you think you will be able to go and sell that jewelry immediately? No. Right. So if you have to invest in gold, investment point of view, then I think the best choice is to go for like the raw gold, like gold coins or the gold bars,
Yeah.
or even go for sovereign gold funds or digital funds, like digital gold, like ETFs and all, right? But if you are someone who genuinely loves to wear gold, then of course go for it. But
Yeah.
if you don't like to wear gold, if you just want to invest, then I think jewelry is, no, in my opinion, not the smart way of investing in gold.
Okay. A lot of people. I mean, a lot of women will say, like,
No, but it's not like right or wrong, Deepa. It's about like maybe they don't know this, right?
yeah.
Because we just think it like, oh, I'm wearing my investment. No, you're not. It's never an investment because look at the making charges you've paid for that.
Yeah.
Uh, it's crazy, but I think times are changing. People are becoming more aware, and the funny part is if you have to invest in gold, like in the digital gold, the amount of investment you have to put is very less
Yeah.
compared to buying like a gold jewelry, for example. Like even myself, I just wear like this one gold ring maximum to show that I'm married. Touch wood. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah.
Okay, that was a very interesting point actually, and I also didn't knew about that.
Now
Thank
you
you.
know.
Yeah, now I do. So Anamika, moving on is like the next thing is that I want to know that we are in Dubai, right?
Right.
Everybody is carrying an expensive bags. For
Ooh.
example, I'll be
Including
taking.
you.
Yeah, like so, including you as well.
Oh yeah.
So everyone is like carrying an expensive bag. So what do you think, like buying an expensive bag or like investing or maybe taking a like non-branded
Non-branded bag.
yeah bags
Yeah.
or something like that? So what do you think, what is the story behind these expensive brands and like a lot of people showcase their status by like showing these brands, and
Okay.
so as the like looking from the financial perspective, I'll say that what do you think about it, like, and I also have this question that do you think like the people who are carrying like showing their brands is always like a
Do they
branded?
really have money or not?
Yeah, yeah. That's a very big question. Like, because I have read in several reels and content also I've seen, and then there comes a publication also where they were mentioning that, the middle the class, which belongs to like, middle class family, they are much more oriented towards because they wants to be what they don't have or
Right.
what they can't be, like maybe in the current situation or current lifestyle they
Right.
want to showcase because they don't have it. The
Right.
people who have it doesn't
They don't
want
want to
to
show.
show. Yeah. So
Right.
what do you have to say about that?
Wow, while you were asking the question, I had like so many, like thoughts coming to my mind. कि ये भी बोलना है. But I think I'll ask you a question, Deepa, over here. Okay, suppose say you want to buy, uh, you just want to buy something. Let's not specify the good. You suppose you want to buy a dress for yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
there are two shops, shop A and shop B. Okay. Uh, and the collection is same in both the shops, ditto same, okay,
Yeah.
same mannequins, same dresses, everything is same, okay, but the only difference is that you see say a Mercedes parked outside shop A, which is the owner's car,
Yeah.
and outside shop B there's a simple, I won't mention the car name because it'll become like controversy
Suzuki.
otherwise. Suppose say a Maruti Suzuki,
Yeah.
right? You tell me which shop will you be drawn towards?
Okay, frankly speaking, Anamika, I'm a fashion designer, so I know the backstory of these brands. So I won't see the car.
You
The
won't see
car
the
doesn't
car. Okay,
matter.
ठीक है, fair
For
enough,
me,
fair enough.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But suppose say you were not a fashion designer, you didn't understand these basics,
Yeah.
right? There's a thing called जो दिखता है वो बिकता
Big
है,
pair, yeah.
right?
True.
Otherwise, tell me one thing, why would we want to look a certain way, in social events and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's more like social signaling when you carry these big brands or something. It's more like telling the world that hello, hey, I have the money, I have this brand, and you don't have. It's something called conspicuous consumption pattern. Where you try to where you feel that this product is priced at a very high range, and I know that others cannot afford it, so that is why I will buy it to show them that I can afford. It's more like like pampering your own ego,
Yeah.
right, that by carrying certain brands and trying to inflate your ego passively in your own mind, and feeling good about it. It's actually a theory, which actually like has entire research on this whole pattern. And the funny part is, what, Deepa, that you won't believe, like, guess who is the major buyer of all these brands? Do you think it's the HNIs, the high net individuals, or
No.
is it like the basic salary people? It's actually the basic
Basic
salary
salary people,
people,
yeah.
because because they know they don't have that HNI kind of money, they want to feel like they are HNIs. They want to signal that I
Yeah.
am an HNI, but deep down you know you're not an HNI, which
Right.
is not a bad thing, but it's just a reality check,
Yeah.
right? So these brands actually help you to up level your, your own social status.
Satisfaction, yeah.
Yeah, you can say that in a way, right? So, however, it also depends on factors like the kind of social circle you are hanging out with.
Yeah.
For example, if your work is something where it involves looking good, looking presentable, and walking the talk, okay, then you have to, carry certain brands or show that you're presentable and you talk a certain way, so that others get convinced that, yeah, your work is
You
doing well.
belong to the,
However, if
yeah.
if I was in a job, right, and it does not matter, because if I carry, a Prada, or I carry like a basic jute bag, it does not matter. My promotion will anyways depend on my performance, right?
Yeah.
Then I would most likely go for the bag which is, like lower priced or but of good quality. So it's, again, I feel when I see someone, with a designer bag or something, I don't assume that he or she has money. I try to first assess that, does she really would be having the money, or is she just like carrying it to flaunt that she has
Yeah.
the money? For example, a lot of like lifestyle influencers nowadays, they show they have a lot of money, they spend on all those lavish trips, all those lavish brands and all, but we know the reality. Sometimes it's not even their own bag, it's a borrowed bag.
Yeah.
And it's a huge business of borrowing those luxury goods. We saw it in Dubai Bling as
Yeah.
well, right? It's a very common thing. So I would just say that, firstly, only buy, I mean, it's a personal choice again, but mostly people buy brands to show that they are rich versus being actual rich, because the actual rich people don't even mostly carry
Yeah.
the big brands. They
They
wear the
don't care.
most basic, attire. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Because
the
they
I.
don't care. They
They
don't
don't
have
care.
to
They
show.
know that the money is there in the bank. The ones who don't have want to show that
Yeah.
I have money. So it's like the reverse.
That's so true. I totally agree to it. Okay, and I want to ask that what is the biggest myth about finance or money? Like you want to talk
Myth.
about. Yeah.
Biggest myth
Or
or
biggest lie about money.
biggest lie. I think the biggest lie, the biggest scam, I would say, that's a big word, but I actually feel it was like a scam because the funny part is, I keep saying this thing multiple times, in fact, that why was I never taught about money, back in my childhood days? Like, why is the question. Like, I was taught about the world being a certain way, like so many countries, and about history and all.
The
what will i
cosmos.
what will I do of all these things? Like, how is it helping me
Yeah.
today to make money? And the one thing you have been chasing you will be chasing now entire life, that is the only thing which we don't discuss. Forget being taught about. Education system is like, so, like, I don't know how you structure it, but forget teaching about money, you don't discuss about money. Like on dinner tables, I never remember being like discussing money or something. It was like a hush hush
Yeah.
topic that you don't talk about money. In fact, I crave for a community where I can meet people and only discuss like investments and money and global matters and finances, how to become rich, how to save more money, how to invest money for better returns. There is never a community, where I've come across where people openly discuss about these things. But
Yeah.
luckily, I think with content creation nowadays and with more and more finance influencers coming up, I think the trend is changing and people are becoming more open about money as a
Yeah.
topic. And hopefully in the next decade, I guess we'll just become more educated and aware about the basics of finance. But yeah, I think finance should have been taught to us. In fact, stuff like utna hi pair फैलाओ जितनी
Char.
चादर हो, something like
Yeah,
that, right?
right.
Like, what logic is that? मतलब पहले you are teaching me all the incorrect things, and then later on, when I don't know how to make money and I'm not making money, I'm getting criticized. And I'm being
Yeah.
compared to my neighbor's son or daughter. He or she got this much ka package in US and you
Yeah.
are still here. I'm like, then teach me now how to get a package. So
That's so
that's
true.
the biggest scam, biggest lie. And I just hope people start discussing this more openly
Yeah.
now. It's not a wrong thing, it's a
Right.
practical thing, right?
Talking
I'm
about
like,
that, Anamika, I just remember, like, growing up, like, everybody taught us everything what was not necessary.
oh
For
yeah.
example, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 2 plus 2, geometry, then algebra,
Seriously?
what not, CTC, like, EVS, and like, I totally agree that we need to know how should we live, how should we take care of our
I
Mother
know.
Earth and everything. Nobody taught us that when you fall in life, but when you feel like, maybe depressed, you have anxiety,
Mental
how
health, yeah.
mental health, nobody talked about it. I'm so shocked that while growing up, nobody taught us that when you feel upset from inside,
How do you tackle with these
how do you
emotions?
tackle, like nobody
Right.
was talking, everybody taught us that there is Bhagavad Gita, you should listen, all the questions are there, but how
How?
can we find that
Exactly.
the answer is there or not, and how to answer the question which is here, like so many
Exactly.
questions.
Oh my God,
And
yeah.
talking about the financial part, the girls were the least, like it was always the father
Yes.
or the brother
Yes.
who has to take
The
care.
male member
Nobody
of the family.
pushed us, like when we got into job and CTC and we have to file a tax, and then calling our dad, hey,
How do
what
you
to
do
do
that? Yeah.
now, what to do. And they never taught, like because I feel I'm very privileged of having, like a father like me. And we all are blessed because, like we never face such situation, like where there was difficulty, they stand, but they never taught us, like the right way.
Right.
Talking about the finance, the number, how important, like they didn't told us that money is power. They always said that whatever you need, I'll take care of
Provide for
it.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
we thought like
You
money
focus on
was grown
education.
in the
Right.
trees, and like whenever we
That's
need it,
what.
it was
That is what, if I, Deepa, I mean, I'm not even saying that teach me how to file ITR. That's come later when you start earning money,
yeah,
if you start earning money, right? Forget that. At least could have just taught me about things like compounding,
yeah,
inflation, like
recession,
recession, like what are these terms, like how practically it works,
yeah,
like I think if I was just told, if I was just like my teachers had just like taught me about the basics of like how money compounds over years when
yeah,
invested, right? I would have never splurged all my pocket money,
yeah,
and on my birthdays and all, when all the relatives give you like 500 rupees, you're like, oh my god, let's go and do shopping, or let's go and eat something. I would have never done that. I would have just given to my mom and been like,
yeah,
mommy, just go and put it in some
compound,
mutual
yeah,
fund or something like that,
yeah,
right, in the market.
right,
And I think if I had that basic clarity
knowledge,
or
yeah,
knowledge, or on finance and money, I think it would have like been like a different ball game together, altogether today. So
yeah. I
but
just feel
yeah, that's the
that
irony of life.
yeah, like we coming up the next generation as parents, so
Yes,
we'll
yes,
be more open towards these things. And I
yes.
think when I'll have a kid, or you have recently been a mother, so you'll be open about finance. You'll be talking about, like the numbers, the things, like when you fall in life, what exactly. So
Right.
I feel like these are the things which we lack.
Absolutely.
Otherwise it's all good.
I think, yeah, and in fact, even the mental health thing that you
Yeah,
mentioned about, I just feel like, at least in the Western countries, it's still something which is taken seriously.
yeah,
Again, I'm not doing like a debate between countries or cultures and all, but I've just seen the subtle difference that in, like, say, in India, okay, if you feel that, oh, firstly, like there's so many things I can just like yap about or rant about, which I don't want to, but stuff like, I'm not feeling good internally, or suppose I had a breakup with a boyfriend, I'm having a lot of mixed emotions.
yeah,
Now there is no one to talk about.
right.
But if I could just like talk about this, that firstly in Indian households you hide it, mostly in majority. Oh, you have a boyfriend? No, no, I don't have a
Because
boyfriend.
you're scared of
Because you're
being
scared of being then
beaten. So,
exactly. So that's the thing, that you don't firstly tell the world about dating someone,
yeah,
and suppose your parents do come to know, you are screwed big time, okay? And forget that, but then that boyfriend suppose ditches you, or you
yeah,
have a breakup, you don't even know how to process your own emotions.
yeah,
And imagine if there was a platform, or it was like more open to discuss about these topics, would have been like a wonderful way of dealing with life in general.
right,
Like,
right.
but that's what you learn the hard way. Life teaches you. I think that is what schools don't teach you. That's why I think the now even we are moving gradually towards like homeschooling. A lot of
Yeah,
parents are doing that,
yes,
like not sending the kids to the regular schools and going for like homeschooling, because they realize that a lot of things which are being taught to us in school is not relevant in practical life.
yeah,
So yeah, I think finance, mental health, uh, stuff like how to network with people,
Yeah.
relationship skills, very selling, like how to sell something. I think these are the topics which we should be taught in school versus teaching what happened in history and geography and crying one day before the math exam that oh my god I might flunk. So yeah.
That's so true. I totally agree with you.
Yes.
So, talking about shopping, Anamika, people and brands showcase sales, and you use coupons and all that things, and like a lot of women and a lot of people, because men doesn't shop a lot. That's
Yeah.
why I am
Yeah,
tagging the
they're
women.
very satisfied people. I don't know why.
Yeah, they are very satisfied
Yeah.
with whatever. We only do shopping for them as well.
Yeah, true.
So, how the brands like Target, while using sales, coupons, and everything,
Correct.
and like we women just go around and shop. So, what do you have to say about from the financial part of it? Does they really have a sale thing, or the coupon like really works, or like is it just spam again?
Wow. Okay, so there are two aspects of looking at it. Firstly, is Deepa. So when a sale is going on, you've noticed that they create this sense of urgency.
Yeah.
That sale is valid only for these many hours. Hurry up.
Out of
Two
stock.
items left, temporarily unavailable and all. And then, stuff like this, like was for 999, now is for 99. And then you develop this passively in your subconscious. You are developing FOMO.
Yeah.
Like, what if I miss out on this sale, then, and, suppose say after a month I have to buy the same product, I have to pay like 999 for the same thing. So passively, that you did not actually want to buy this, but because you saw that sale flashing
Yeah.
on your phone screen, you are now tempted to buy it.
Right.
Okay. And you have fallen into that psychological trap which the brands try to create it for customers, right? But there is this one trick which you can try applying, which I personally I love this trick, which is whenever this is not in the sale, this is usually in the off season I'm talking about. In the off season, suppose say I'm feeling low, or I, as a woman I'm talking, and I'm not generalizing women, but as a woman myself, I feel that shopping serves my emotional needs a lot.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I just need some bit of like emotional pampering or uplifting myself emotionally. Shopping does that work.
Yeah.
Like I just go to Amazon or any other shopping website, and I check out all those fancy stuff, like makeup or cosmetics or dresses,
Yeah.
and just feel good immediately, right? But then we after when the product comes after a few hours, you realize ki, do I really want this
Yeah.
dress maybe? And then you sometimes you feel too lazy to return it back, so you just keep it for yourself,
Keep it,
right?
yeah.
Try this trick next time. You just add whatever you want, okay? Just add it to your cart, but don't check out. Try it,
Yeah. I
okay?
always do that.
Yes. And the funny part is after just few hours you will actually feel that what, I don't require this
Yeah.
thing. And it has happened with me so many times that I've saved a lot of money by simply doing this trick, like shop like a CEO and not like a sales victim.
Yeah.
Okay, like ask yourself, do I really need this, or is it just a want?
Yeah.
If it's a need, of course go and buy it. Like I'm not saying ki starve and don't order rice and आटा घर पे order मत करो, but if it's just a want and just an emotional satisfying need,
Yeah.
like a want, then probably just keep it in your cart, okay? But ask yourself again after like 24 48 hours, do I like need this really? And 90% times you will feel that what, I don't require this, I don't require
Yeah.
this, I don't require this. And if you just passively make this like a lifestyle habit of yours, you will actually end up picking, like saving a lot of money.
Right.
And I think for women or men in general who love to like shop, I think also there's something called, which I apply a lot, is something called like the 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 fun budget. Okay, the fun monthly budget. Suppose say I earn, suppose say 10,000 rupees, okay, and I allocate say 30% of that salary to the fun monthly
Yeah.
budget. Like now I have 3,000 to spend on whatever I want
Yeah.
in a separate account or wallet, for example. So that also helps me to mentally have a distinguishment in my mind that, okay, you know what, I can only spend 3,000 rupees if I want. So these small hacks work because eventually it's all a game of the mind, and brands know how to trick you into just
Yeah.
like buying more, more and more stuff. So yeah, I think that's how I think personally it has worked for me, and I hope it works for you guys as well.
Yeah. So talking about your journey from CA to a content creator and influencer. So, how was it? Like, are you a Bernia? Why did you do CA first of all? Don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, see, I had a very simple logic, and again, I'm not trying to attack anybody over here or any science or commerce background or arts background people. But the funny part is, when I was in class 10th, Deepa, see, I'm from a very middle class family, okay, where you are not allowed to buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right, you say you want to buy something, you are told, what, you first get this kind of grades in the exams and then you will get this. So like getting rewarded is linked to an achievement always. Okay, so passively you start craving for money.
Yeah.
Right, and I started developing this craving that, what, I just want to have enough money so I can just buy whatever I want. And then I realized, what, but around me there wasn't anybody as such who was like an aspirational figure earning lots of money as such. So that's when, I began questioning, who is it really who has the kind of money to do like tagless shopping,
Yeah.
like without seeing the money, like how much the thing is for, right? And I realized the funny part is that m- there were very few people from the science background, like engineers. I'm not attacking engineers. I love engineers. I love engineers. I love engineers. But from a financial perspective, I mean, come on, you guys know the truth, right? Like engineers are not paid that good an amount compared to the kind of studies they do in science, right? And commerce may they do like lesser studies, but the options to earn money is more. And
Okay.
that's when I did the comparison, science versus, because in class 11th and 12th I had to choose a stream,
Yeah.
science or commerce. And the funny part was all the smart students were put in science and the ones who were non-smart were put in commerce.
Yeah.
And when you opt for commerce, being a good, like a topper in class, you opt for commerce, people judge you like, why are you going to
Yeah, why?
commerce? But the simple answer is, ki, dude, I'm a banya, I want to make money. As simple as that.
Yeah.
And that is what even you have to do in life. But why are you doing engineering then?
Yeah.
Right. So I think I had a simple funda very clear कि dude, life में पैसे कमाने हैं ना, तो you have to do something which will give you money.
Right.
And in my mind I knew कि commerce में CA करके पैसे maximum बनते हैं. At least
Okay.
at that अभी तो options are like more. But at that point of time, CA was the only flashing option I could see.
Yeah.
Under commerce. So that's why I then chose commerce. I went for CA, and then the journey started towards making money. So I had a banya mindset कि पैसे कमाने हैं. It's as simple as that.
So, what are the options of CA right now? Because I can see like a lot of people have, because they follow the same trend, and the trend is out now. Like, it's not a trend now, because in the market you can see everywhere there are so many CAs.
CAs, right.
And what made you switch the profession? Because there was no money or there were no opportunities, or was it your personal choice?
No. There are a lot of opportunities for CAs. Of course, see, firstly, the pass percentage of the entire journey of being a CA is like a hardcore journey. Like I
Yeah.
think I don't exactly know, but I know it's one of the toughest exams in the entire world.
Really?
Really, right. I'm not even kidding. If you look at
Okay.
the reports around this, you see that CA, a CA has to do a lot of studies. Like you literally have no life apart from your books, right? You have this
Okay.
entire huge stack of books as a CA student, right? And everyone has that, right? But at the same time, it's a very respectful, it's a very like high dignity degree, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also very competitive. The pass percentage is around 3 to 5%. Currently, what is the exact percentage I'm not aware of, but it's somewhere around this, right? So firstly, to become a CA and to have that degree of a CA is a big thing. Like it's like, wow, you are a CA, okay. However, it's very competitive at the same time, okay, because, and not just CA, in general, to get a job, to get something like which is like paying you well, it's not easy because
Yeah.
of the social media and how people are just learning skills faster nowadays. But as a CA, I think it pays you really well, especially if you land in a job like how I did in a big four. Then your life is sorted. However, I just had like different aspirations. I wanted to work for lesser hours and make more money and do something where I could have flexibility. And like I said, my plan was never to switch CA to content creator. I'm still making content, which requires my knowledge as a chartered accountant. But at the same time, it only happened gradually. Like I was doing my job and content was more like a fun hobby on the side, and suddenly started picking up. Maybe it was just like God's plan, and content picked up. And then I was like, you know what, let me just take a break from the job and see how content does, and it just picked up. So I never really had to go back to the CA job as such. But I mean, for the CAs in general, there are a lot of CAs, but there are a lot of like you can have your own practice. You can join a big four also. So like CAs in general have a lot of opportunities, but again, you have to be smart enough to upgrade your skills to crack the right opportunity.
Yeah. So, Anamika, you are also a trader.
Yeah.
Like being from finance background, you also are very much into trading. So, what is your advice on trading? How can one start trading, and what are the risks involved while trading? Like,
Okay.
what should be the mindset if
Yeah.
we get into the trading?
Right. First thing I would suggest is please just don't end up signing up for any workshop sold by a so called established trader, because simple funda is that. And I'm telling it openly because I feel that people fall for this trick. Say, I am a successful trader, okay? I'm making a lot of money literally from my trades, right? And I have some secret hack, some strategy which works for me. Am I crazy to share with the entire world? Like, why would I, right? And if I'm not selling that in my course, then I'm selling something which really doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Then how will it work for you, boss? And secondly, if I'm making a lot of money on my own trading, why will I sell courses? That
Yeah.
means you're making losses. It's like basic logic, right? So firstly, when I see a successful trader selling courses, I'm like, oh, you know what, just block this person. For sure, he or she is not making money in trades, right? So that is the first thing. Second is, if you're trying to get into trading, understand that it's a short term focused risky game, but it also has high rewards, like 90, I think almost like 90 to 95% traders lose money.
Yeah.
The remaining make money, but then the kind of money they make is like crazy, right? But what sets them apart from the ones who are losing money is the mindset. Trading, I've learned one thing is that first, eventually you will most probably lose money and only lose money and further lose money and only lose money. And if you still have some capital left, then
Start rising.
you would have learned the hardest of lessons, and then you start really making profits and earning
Yeah.
money. So it's all an emotional, a mindset game, and if you understand your own mind and discipline really well, then you will be a rockstar trader. Otherwise, investing is the
Okay.
best. Yeah, safe
So, you are
investing.
saying it's a high risk game
Very high
with
risk,
a high return.
very high risk, very high risk with a very high return. If you come in the remaining 5% after you have gone to the extreme bottom low, and if you still have money capital left, then you rise back again.
Yeah, talking about that, I have felt the same. I
I think we have all have done that.
Yeah, I had started trading in 2021 and 2022 when the market crashed. I crashed and I promised never touched it again
Oh yeah.
because like that was the crash. I didn't expected it and it was so hurting. I'll tell
Oh
you
yeah.
that I never get the power again to like
Oh
get
yeah,
into the
I can
same field.
probably have a separate podcast on the amount of liquidations I've had in the market and the losses I've had, and all those dark days and the
Yeah.
weeks, and it's a different ball game. But
Yeah.
just one thing I would suggest is, like, please just don't end up. There are a lot of free content nowadays on how to trade.
Yeah.
There's something called paper trading nowadays, and
Okay.
not it's been there for a while, right? Where you don't have to actually trade with the real money.
Oh,
It's only
okay.
dummy money you trade with,
Oh.
and you do enough practice to get your hands on the market, the charts, and then you can start with small capital.
That's
But like I said,
interesting.
all this
Yeah.
gyan is there in the internet, but uske
Yeah.
baad
When the
bhi we
market
end,
starts.
it's just so tempting that you feel
Yeah.
like, you know what, this is going to be the point where I will make money, and this is the point where you lose money actually.
I've just
So
understood
yeah.
that when the candle gets up, your heart rate gets up, and when the candles go low,
Yeah.
you doesn't feel your heart rate.
That's
Like
that's a
it's
funny part. Like, you can never time the market, and
yeah,
it's just like so tough to balance your emotions, stay disciplined, and at the
yeah,
same time not react to the market. So yeah, that's I think that is where a good and a profitable and a loss making trader gets differentiated.
yeah.
But for someone, who feels I don't have enough time, etc., and I'm a bit wobbly with my emotions, please stick to investing and do paper trading or dummy trading.
Yeah.
In that case, yeah.
That's a good answer. Also, like, we are running out of time now. We are at the end of the podcast. It was so interesting
Yeah, 1 hour was like
conversation.
so quick.
Yeah, actually, when you have a conversation which is unfiltered, it doesn't feel like, you are speaking, you are just sharing, right?
Yeah.
And it was so good to have you, Anamika, here. But the last question is that what is one piece of advice do you want to give to all the people who just want to learn the basic of finance and then start investing, or, like want to learn how social media work, because social media is a huge thing. While Gar Malik, who is like one of the stand-up comedian here, and he said one of the very interesting part about social media, like social media has become like famous hona itna important ho gaya, it's just like a government job now.
Oh,
That
wow. Okay.
yeah, that's a huge point to make, but
Yeah.
I totally agree, and a lot of people agreed to that. So what is one of piece of advice to the people who just want to enter into the social media, like content creation, and they also want to get like engaging audience, and they wants to make something important content regarding, as you are choosing the niche of finance, and you are giving so much good advice to people who really want to learn. So what are your piece of advice to them?
Right. So, as like what Garv mentioned, I think it's very important that, and it's very on point, that everybody, literally everybody, irrespective of whether you want to become famous or not,
Yeah.
you need to have some platform where you are socially visible. If you're someone who's not a very camera friendly person, at least be on Twitter or LinkedIn. Like, have a professional profile where you are active, because it's like, suppose if I'm a recruiter, right, and if I have two Deepas, Deepa A, Deepa B, like just A and B, why Deepa A, Deepa B, just A and B, right?
Yeah.
Same qualification, same same experience, etc. I will, and A has say 1,000 followers, and B has like some 20,000 followers. I will of course go for B,
Yeah.
because it also means that you have an extra skill which is being socially valid, or you're just good with social skills. Of course, as a recruiter, as a company who is hiring, I will go for B. So even from a professional perspective, if you don't want to make reels and TikTok content or whatever it is, it's fine. You don't have to be like camera friendly person. Just be on any one platform and try to network with people. And if you are providing value,
Yeah.
right, and just posting something which is helpful genuinely, not posting from the perspective, oh, this will go viral, this will get me views, it will most probably not get you views then. But if you have the intention that this is providing value, unfiltered authentic value, trust me, some or the other content will blow up and will get you a loyal audience base always.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be on some social media platform, show your face or not show your face, doesn't matter. Be anon, say for on Twitter, a lot of people don't have their names or their their faces, like the real ones, but they do have a profile and like a lot of followers as well.
Yeah.
But be on some platform where you can say that I have built a community. So that's very important.
Thank you so much, Anamika. And it was a great conversation with you. I learned so many things, and looking forward to you again on my show.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and this time we'll talk about more stuff beyond finance.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool. It was pleasure actually, Deepa, being here. I didn't realize like how 60 minutes just like flew by so
Yeah.
quickly. So yeah, it was fun actually.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. So, if you learn anything important, and if you have any comments to give around finance, or you have some questions for Anamika, we can catch her on Instagram. She's very active there. And so, do like and subscribe my channel. Also, if you have any questions, do let me know. Thank you so much.